Hi, this is Gerald Salenti. It's Thursday, August 17th, 2017. And here are some of today's trends in the news on the market front. Everything is down, except Shanghai is a little higher, gold's up, and oil's up. So what happened? Well, you know what happened. Dow posts biggest one-day fall in 3 months. Concerns over Trump agenda grow. That's right. Dow closed down near its low, 274 points. NASDAQ down around the world. They're losing confidence in Trump. So, go back to yesterday, what I was reading. Investors' view of earnings sours as White House fails to deliver stimulus. And you know what I kept saying? There's going to be a 10% correction. But it could be worse because you never know the wild cards. And I've been saying it over and over again. There's no wilder card than the Trump card. And he keeps playing it. And he played it on this one, man. And the confidence that's being lost with the business community against him is big, it's real, and it may have an impact. But of course, you know my saying. When all else fails, they take you to war. That'll get your mind off things. Go back to that .com bust. Yep, the .com bust. You remember that one, right? March 2000. What happened in September 2001? 9/11. Yeah. Got the people's mind off that recession and that big bust. So, what else do we have here? Retail sales, they're not doing so good. Walmart, better than expected earnings, but the stock went down. Target came out, stock went up. Target's, what they're doing is they're lowering prices. Brick and mortar is not dead. The model is dead. Too few have too much, and their profit margins are too thin. It's as simple as that. Once upon a time, there used to be grocery stores and delicatessens. That's right, little mom and pop shops. And his and hers, and hers and hers. Don't have those no more. So, or not a lot of them. So the bigs have gotten too big. Brick and mortar is going to grab business, but I want to go out and buy a shovel. I want to go to a hardware store. Oh, they don't have hardware stores anymore. That's right. Now we got Home Depot and Lowe's. All those monopolies that have taken the money out of the pockets of we the little people, and that's why retail sales stink, because wages aren't going up and the jobs stink for a large majority of the population. The fact is 51%, a majority, with full-time jobs in the United States are earning $30,000 a year or less. That's what retail is doing. Now, gold went up. Well, gold went up on the news, of course, that the market's going down, but also because they don't think the Fed is going to raise interest rates. It's about a 43% chance that they're going to do it in December. I say they're going to raise it, unless Trump plays another Trump card and this thing collapses, because it can. But we're looking at, as we say, a 10% correction. And gold is trapped in this 1,200, 1,300 range. It can't break into that 1,300. It's really holding tight at 1,296. So it has to really break strongly into 1,300 for its next move. And oil. Oil prices went up a little today because stockpiles went down a little bit. But the higher the price goes, the more production you're going to see coming out. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, U.S. crude production rose 80,000 barrels per day to over 9.5 million barrels per day last week, a 12.8% rise above the recent low in mid-2016. The higher the prices, the more production, supply and demand. And by the way, that's why Inflation is low. It's a supply and demand issue. There's too much stuff out there and not enough people with money to buy it. Not only oil, shirts, shoes, computers, you name it. Cargill warns U.S. against NAFTA retreat amid tense beginning of renegotiation. You know why Cargill? Because Big Ag is making the big money on this. And they put a lot of farmers out of work over there in Mexico. So this is good for the big guys, but not good for we the little people. Because all the jobs that we've lost, and those are facts, not speculation. Quote, for countless Americans, this agreement has failed. We cannot ignore the huge trade deficits, the lost manufacturing jobs, the businesses that have closed or moved because of incentives in the current NAFTA agreement, said Robert Lighthizer, U.S. Trade Representative. Thousands of American factory workers have lost their jobs because of these provisions. He is 100% correct. Now it becomes, will Trump be able to do anything, being that he's losing support? And that's a big one to think about. Fed policymakers blast dangerous bid to loosen restraints on banks. Yep, that's what the Trump administration wants to do. Let's make it easy for those banksters to be banksters. One of the Federal Reserve's top policymakers has attacked attempts to reverse the post-crisis drive for tougher regulation, calling efforts to loosen constraints on banks, quote, dangerous and extremely short-sighted. And this is according to Stanley Fischer, the vice chairman of the Fed. He goes on to say, one can understand the political dynamics of this thing, but one cannot understand why grown, intelligent people reach the conclusion that you should get rid of all these things you have put in place in the last 10 years. Grown, intelligent people, you know what that is.
That was bullshit.
Yeah, like bullshit Bernanke. Intelligent people, the clown called it wrong, man. It's a fact. Didn't see the panic going. Hey, Stanley, read the minutes. Oh, you don't let us read the minutes until they're so old people forget them. You guys missed the panic of '08. And when I was calling it and on TV, I was being ridiculed because the Fed said it wasn't going to happen. Intelligent people, you guys are just like the rest of the jerks out there that people love so much that they call their politicians. Just another group of little boys and girls that never work a day in their lives, suck off the public tit, and are arrogant. You guys are losers. You, Stanley Fischer. How about bringing back the Glass-Steagall Act? Oh, that you lovely people that Miss Hillary Clinton and her husband. Yeah, Bill Clinton got rid of that one, didn't he? Yeah. Oh, who was his Treasury Secretary when he started that? Oh, yeah, a guy from Goldman Sachs. Or maybe you forgot that one. You little Robbie Rubin, all you lowlifes. Keep it up, Stanley, because all you have is what the rest of the Fed has, what the Bank of Japan has, what Mario Draghi, another Goldman Sachs flunky, all you guys have is...
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Take precautions. You guys sold us out. Here, this is what I read yesterday. Decade of QE leaves big central banks owing fifth of public debt. $15 trillion. 15 trillion bucks. A scam. These laws that they put in place following a crisis are a bunch of crap. All they do is hurt little banks. Put Glass-Steagall back in place and call it a day. Stanley Fischer. Moving on. Fiat joins BMW's self-driving car project. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles will join a consortium led by BMW and Intel that aims to fully develop driverless cars by 2021. Driverless cars may alter 1 in 9 jobs, according to the United States government report, the Commerce Department. So you know, if this is coming out of the Commerce Department, you know that it ain't going to happen. We do not believe this driverless car sale that they're selling is going to pay dividends. This driverless cars and all the money it's going into it is going to be an element of a new dot-com bust among the automakers that are dumping in these billions. And to learn more about it, facts, numbers, times and days, trend alert, driverless vehicles, the next dot-com bust. That's our forecast, and we're sticking by it. Moving on to some geopolitical news. Top U.S. general breaks bread with Chinese soldiers on North Korea's doorstep. And this is from the Wall Street Journal. I'm mentioning this because I believe that there's a faction within the U.S. military that does not want any more war. And I believe it's real. They're not all a bunch of crazy people. We haven't won a war since World War II. There's no end in sight in Afghanistan. Iraq is a mess. One after another, it's not working. So we believe there's going to be an element within the military that says no more to war unless we're really, really threatened by a foreign invader of real proportions. U.S. needs consent to act, Seoul says. South Korean President Moon warned that the U.S. would need South Korea's consent for any military action on the Korean Peninsula. But then we have crazy people here. Does it make a difference if you're a man, a woman, white, black, or any other colors? No. Genders don't count. Nothing does. Good and evil, smart and ignorant, come in all of them. Speaking of which, Nikki Haley accuses Iran of holding the world hostage with nuclear deal. Yep, she suggested Iran was using the existence of the deal as a pretext for support for terrorism, disregard for human rights, and violations of UN Security Council resolutions. Oh, yeah, like Israel, but you never say that, do you? Oh, you want to talk about disregard for human rights? Hey, Nikki, could you count to 1.5 million? That's how many Iraqis we killed on a war based on lies. Yeah, you remember George Bush and Penis Cheney? Excuse me, Dick. I have to be proper. I don't want Google to censor me. Dick Cheney, little Rumsfeld, all those little freaks that sold us the war based on lies. Colin, down the crapper. It goes, Powell. Yeah, you remember that little vial that vile man held up? But this is the kind of crap they put out, and they keep getting away with it. In Chile, Pence says North Korea must be isolated. Yep, she's telling, Pence is down there. Don't you, all you people that want Trump out, you're going to love Pence. What a piece of work he is, that jerk. Anyway, he's telling Chile, you got to cut the deal with North Korea. And it's going to make a big difference to North Korea, because you know what kind of money we're talking about? North Korean exports in 2015 to Chile totaled $648,000, while Chilean exports to North Korea totaled $2 million. There's no money at all. This is a very poor country, North Korea. They're in drought conditions. They're a threat to nobody. They've attacked no one. The United States has, though, Nikki Haley. But in the United States, you're not getting the news. All you're getting is not fake news only, junk news one stupid story a day, whether it's the Cartoon News Network, MSNBC, more of the same bull crap. NBC, CBS, all of them, same stuff. Need any proof? Here, try this. Here it is, the New York Times, the toilet paper record. Front page story, Trump response to violent rally shocks his allies. Splitting party after remarks on racial past. And you go inside. Look at this. One page after another. One page after another. One page. College. Brace for more clashes as right-wing speakers seek venues. One after another. Confederate symbols face new resistance after violent protests. Split in Republican Party after president embraces a radically charged past. Trump's defense of white nationalists shocks his allies and draws rebukes. Revolts by business one after another. And just so you don't forget, that's just the national news. The international news, brought to you by the slimy people in the New York Times that love to sell wars. You remember how they sold that Iraq war, right? With them aluminum tubes and yellow cakes. Yeah, and them editorials. Love to sell war? Again, here they are. Front page. Code writer in Ukraine could blow whistle on Russian hacking. There is no evidence that this guy, Pro-Fixer, worked, at least knowingly, for Russian intelligence services. But his malware apparently did. Apparently did. No evidence. You're not journalists. You're little low-life people that sell hate and love war. Oh, look on the inside. Yeah, more. That's the New York Times. That's the news. And that's why when you subscribe to the Trends Journal, you get trend alerts, trends monthlies, Trends Journal, and every weekday night, Trends in the News, to put you on top of the news and ahead of the trends while they're stuck on selling hate and lies. This is Gerald Salenti, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.